Yeah!
Good evening and welcome to the New Faces of Leadership Speaker Series. Tonight there's going to be a lot of girl power in the room. Sorry, gentlemen. Our topic of discussion will be the role of AAPI women voters and leaders 1 year out before the 2012 elections. Good way to get things started, way in advance. And if recent headlines are any indication, we're in for quite a treat next year. I'm sure you know about that. And just a brief introduction, my name is Kathy Park. I'm a reporter and weekend anchor for ABC 7 and News Channel 8, and I am honored to be a part of this program featuring notable AAPI women in politics. We have more ladies coming. This evening will be an opportunity for you to learn how these women got to where they are today. They'll also address current issues and also stress the importance of civic engagement. And of course, through their words of wisdom, we hope that you'll be inspired, enlightened, and at the very least, we hope that you get out the vote in 2012 and encourage others to cast that ballot next year. But maybe also these women, after they speak, they will encourage you to possibly run for office, maybe? But not? All right, and we're going to start off with a few questions, and then we're going to open up to the audience. So it'll be very conversational, lots of Q&A. And I understand that this event is actually going to be streaming live on the web. So hello to the folks out in cyberspace. Greetings from DC. And I guess if they have any questions as well, they'll be chiming in throughout the evening. And at this time, I would like to hand over the mic to Toby Chaudhry, Chair of APIAVote, for some introductory remarks.
Thank you, Kathy, and thanks for being here. So we are APIAVote, and everyone in this room pretty much are the Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders for whom this organization exists. You know, we all in this room are very well aware of the fact that AAPIs are on the rise. And frankly, at APIAVote, our mission in this next year and a half especially is to run the largest mobilization of AAPI voters in the history of personkind, right? The only way we can do that is if we work together. But I'll tell you something, if anything, the victories of just a couple of weeks ago in some of these states remind us of how important it is for us to be vigilant on this front. You know, especially right now when folks are putting up barriers to a lot of voting out there, these voter identification ballot initiatives and whatnot. The reality is those are meant to disenfranchise our people, minority voters, low-income voters, the 99% that they talk about. And despite our gains, we need to realize that we have to fight against that, right? So when folks talk about AAPIs not voting, it's not necessarily because of apathy. Oftentimes it's because of structural things out there. But the reality is that we are still here, that we are going to fight, and all of us in this room are going to keep our energy alive. You know, this concept that America is not made, but that it's in the making, is very important for us, because we know that as our population grows out there, it means all sorts of new things for how public policy is made. And understanding our community is something that we have to make sure that Washington does all the time. But we have to be aggressive out there, because the folks who are aggressive about making government not represent us have to be fought back all the time. But one thing that we definitely know is around the world, the strength of a community can be measured oftentimes by the strength of its women. And tonight's presentation is really about that, right? Because we have finally arrived at a place in our community where we have an amazing, inspiring generation of women leaders who are carrying our banner out there. So without further ado, I want to thank a few folks who've made tonight happen. Right out of the gates, Kevin Orr and Ginny Kim from Jones Day for opening up this beautiful, beautiful venue. I also want to thank our co-sponsors, the Fierce Women of Napof. Are there any in the house? The professional women of the Center for the Asian Pacific American Women. Are there any professionals there? Certainly the leaders of APACs. We're all leaders with you, APEX. And fellows. There are many fellows from APEX here. And then certainly the network from the Greek system, right? The National API Pan-Hellenic Association. Do we have reps from there tonight here? Well, the reality is we couldn't have done this without us all coming together, and that is going to be a very important theme for us as we go into 2012, working together. So without further ado, I'm going to give it back to Kathy here to get us kicked off. But let's all get engaged. This conversation is very important. We all have a stake in it. Let's all get involved. Thank you.
Thanks, Toby. Sounds like a campaign rally already. All right. Well, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Dr. Judy Chu. She was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives for California's 32nd District in July of 2009. She immediately got to work representing the interests of her constituents, voting on several environmental bills and working through the night on her first day in office during a marathon debate on important health care reform legislation as part of her first assignment on the House Education and Labor Committee, where she served on the subcommittees on early childhood, elementary, and secondary education and healthy families and communities. Congresswoman Chu began her career as an educator and taught psychology at Los Angeles City College and East Los Angeles College for 20 years. She was first elected to the Garvey School District Board of Education over 24 years ago. She was then elected to the Monterey Park City Council, where she served as mayor 3 times. And I also want to mention that in 2011, she was elected as the chair of the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus, also known as APAC. All right, let's give a warm welcome to Congresswoman Judy Chu.
Good evening. Good evening. Well, it is so great to be here with such terrific members of the community, all here to talk about the vote and about Asian Pacific American women in leadership. And I congratulate you for putting on this very, very important event. And I hope we have a great dialogue tonight. Well, I can't believe that it's been over 2.5 years since President Barack Obama announced his selection of Hilda Solis as the Secretary of Labor. I was immediately overjoyed because I've known Hilda for such a long time. I knew she would do such a fantastic job, and she is a person of such integrity. But then it occurred to me that the congressional seat would be open. And when I thought about the fact that it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, I decided I had to run. It was an extremely tough primary. There were naysayers that said that someone like me, an Asian American, could not win this seat. But I thought I had a chance. I thought I did because of my deep roots in the district, having been elected at that point in time 9 times over 23 years, by the people of the district, from the Garvey School Board to the Monterey Park City Council, to then the mayor of that city, to the California State Assembly, and then to the California Board of Equalization, which is the state's tax board. And I thought I had a chance because of my long history working to bring the community together as a coalition builder. Well, thank goodness I was right. On July 14, 2009, I was elected. But what was even more amazing was the next day when I got a call from the White House saying that President Barack Obama wanted to call to congratulate me. And so at noon of that day, I picked up the phone. It was him, and I could barely believe I was holding the phone in my hand, and he was congratulating me for becoming the first Chinese American woman elected to Congress in history. Now, many people think that I always wanted to be an elected official, but growing up, I never even thought about it once. It was so far away from the realm of possibilities. I saw so few role models. Then I went to the university. In fact, I was a math major. I thought that my future was going to be in computer scientists.